Words about the BVL, the Bundesvereinigung Logistics, Federal Association Logistics in Germany, for which I have the honor to speak today in my function as the head of the Chapter Russia of the BVL. BVL is a great platform with 11,000 members, a unique network, bringing together specialists and leading figures from the worlds of business, science, and politics. And that's very important in this field. For example, the Caspian region, I think it's very important to promote it, and such huge platforms like BVL gives a possibility to promote, to contact interesting partners, clients, and so on. We do this since 1978, so for over 40 years, and very a challenge is to importance the logistics and the supply chain management. That is one of our main aims which we have. We are non-profit, and we promote the exchange of knowledge and experience not only in Germany but also outside of Germany, with 11 BVL chapters and 14 representatives all over the world. One is Amir in Iran, and for me as a chapter in Russia. And that gives also very good opportunities to contact and communicate with friends in so many different countries in the world, to have their partners for beginning or establishing business. And in Russia, we established this in 2011. Why? I am here very interested in the region of Astrakhan. That's my group of companies, Luno, since 1992, and we are promoting and managing projects even in the logistics sector. And one of our projects since 1.5 years now, that is the port of Astrakhan, the construction of a new port, new terminals there in the Astrakhan region, and therefore Frank a little bit more will tell you after me. So this is now the beginning. The Russian President Vladimir Putin last year, on the 7th of May, he announced that Russia wants to become an important logistics hub between Europe and Asia. I think he understands that logistics is not only necessary for trade, but it's a huge impact for economy. It's more than 30% share of business calculations, and of course you can do the year a very good business too. Therefore you need of course good framework conditions and good infrastructure, and that he appointed to all the ministers and huge companies. I want to be a leader in this way. Russia have to be a leader in this way, and even the Caspian region, of course, is one of these. So Russia, of course, it's a very great location between Europe and Asia, and it has access to 13 seas, have a very powerful railway, quite good port infrastructure, but on all the way you see the logistics performance index. We'll make a benchmark with 160 countries. There, Russia is not so good, so quite bad logistics performance index. But there was the numbers of 2018. So the 2020 logistics performance index is still not published due to the pandemic, and I think Russia may be better. I think so. And be sure. But in the old performance index, all the major emerging countries, China, Brazil, and India, are better placed, and even Kazakhstan and Ukraine are ahead of Russia in the ranking, and that shows us Russia has to do something. So the number one in this logistics index for the 3rd time already, Germany, and Russia's only on the 75th place. When you see the components of the logistics performance index, customs, infrastructure, the arrangement, shipping, logistics, quality, timeliness, tracking, tracing, Let us all come into a score, and this score, of course, Russia has to do something. And even the two necessary steps, the framework to optimize the framework conditions and the infrastructure, I think here it is necessary to development linking the existing corridors, the international transport corridors. Here we have three of them who go through Russia, the international north-south transport corridor, that's more my field in the last 1.5 years. The new Silk Road from China to Europe, and the Trans-Caspian international transport route goes out of Russia from China to Europe. And we are very actively working in this field, in which way we can develop them and even link them. So if you have here the first international north-south transport corridor, 20 years ago established, but not at least in this important ranking for corridors, because it goes through the Iran that sanctions, so many forwarders still not so interesting to use it. If you see the advantages, when you see the standard route through the Suez Canal, and this you have only the halfway and 2.5 times quicker, or 2 times and a little bit more. And that's of course very good advantages even in this times of e-commerce, when you have you need to offer quick transport and logistic ways. But the Iran, it is still now a big problem even for our forwarders. So what we do after we get the mandate to develop the port in Astrakhan and the international north-south transport corridor, we established a working group, an international, invited not only Russians, but delegates from India, from Kazakhstan, from Belarus. So you see here Khargos, the port of Bronka. The general director, he is the main investor for the port of Astrakhan, the CEO of the special economic zone in Astrakhan region. And we did not only invited specialists in logistics, but also the traders, because we need, of course, amounts of commodities. And here you see on the right side the CEO of the Unex company, for example. It's one of the bigger dealers for grains and vegetable oils. And of course, it's very necessary when we speak about future transport options. We need to speak from the beginning with those who use our ways and our corridors. It was very successfully established in September 2019 in St. Petersburg. In the last year, we had 2 online meetings, and what was the results? So you see here the old corridor from St. Petersburg through the Caspian Sea, through the Iran, directly to India. We first offered to extend the international transport corridors to the 2 ports of Germany here, the huge ports Rostock and Hamburg. Because they are also looking for new opportunities, for new challenges, and for new ways where the goods from China can go again the other way to Russia or to Central Europe. And that was the first challenge, to integrate them. They did it with pleasure. So you see here, if you have Rostock with 25.1 million tons of cargo handling, and Hamburg with 136.6 million, and containers for 9.3 million. From them, I think 600,000 goes now to Russia. So very interesting clients. for the international transport corridor. And I'm very happy. At the end of last year, the Port of Hamburg first time pronounced the international north-south transport corridor and this presentations. And you see Ingo Egloff, the CEO of Port Hamburg Marketing, and here you see Dr. Tesch, the CEO from Port Rostock, who is also very interested in into participation for these new transport corridors, and Rostock more for the general cargo, heavyweight, and the bulk, and Hamburg more for the containers. So that was a very huge success. You see here Astrakhan and the port and the Caspian region directly in the center. That is not my slide, that's a slide from Port of Hamburg. Second, what we suggested to integrate or to pronounce more the Volga, so the river transport, the multimodality, and the very interesting potential export volume from Russian producers. I think 40% of the industrial production from Russia is there in this area from the Volga region, and if we integrate this, of course we have new export volume which we can transport, and not only over the INSTC but also to the middle corridor, and therefore we have a possibility to make this Caspian region like a logistics hub. Of course, the third was here the railway to Poland. That's a very typical way which we have to use additional, and we do it. And the repositioning, that was the third main idea and recommendation from us, not to show till now and this time to the Iran and India, but more use the possibility from the INSTC to position the Caspian region like a logistics hub for the very interesting new markets from Central Asia and the whole Caspian region. And that was the main advantage where the forwarders and the expeditors and the logistics companies started to hear about these possibilities, and that we will do in the future, even with the new Caspian port. There is established a port special economic zone already inside the Caspian cluster. There nearby the old port Olya, 660 hectares place, and the last November on the 7th the Russian administration registered this port special economic zone and gave free their quite interesting investment to establish there the infrastructure outside of these new terminals from the Port and Logistics Corporation. That is also a very interesting project, but there you get more information from Frank Busse after me. So what we are thinking about the other corridors, like the new Silk Road, you see the established ways, they are going not through this Caspian region, the main road that's here in this way. And if you see, that is one of the results of the pandemic in the last year, the container handling over this doubled in the last year. So the huge request for this new way where you can send goods from China to Europe and the other way direction very quick, 15-20 days, and for ship you need double time. So that is very interesting, and our idea, of course, is to connect here the Caspian region together with the international north-south transport corridor, and maybe also here to the central middle corridor, where we positioning here the region not only for splitting the containers or the volume of the railways, but also consolidating here block trains and going in the other direction here to the north and maybe then here to the south. Therefore, we are in negotiations with all the committees from the One Belt One Road initiative, and hopefully we have some results in the second half of this year. Also, if you see the Trans-Caspian international transport route, they have also huge success and not doubled, but I think 70 or 60% more volume in the last year. I hope that we continue our negotiations here to link the two corridors, the INSTC with the middle corridor, to transport not only in this way to Central Europe, but also in this direction to Northern Europe and Germany. And I'm very positive that we have, when we further speaking like in this conferences, that we have platforms where we can speak about this, not to be like competitors, but more for partners who link the corridors and offer their very good logistic possibilities for the forwarders. So that is one more idea from us to market the region, to become more logistics in the Caspian region, like the Caspian Logistics, like a consortium only for positioning the Caspian region like a dynamic region with a high growth potential, even like the logistics hub for connecting the transport corridors, like a gateway between Europe and Asia and the key to the Central Asian states. And if you see the Germans and Uzbekistan is one of the most marketed regions in or countries. We have here an embassy from Uzbekistan who works, make great work. And if I see our financial institutes, they're very open for financing investment projects in Uzbekistan. So I think there we will have a huge request for more transport and logistics in. It's not only there in Kazakhstan and Tajikistan and other states, of course, too. Therefore, we need even such Caspian Europe forums to come together and to speak about new projects. So we have to develop transport solutions with lucrative offers, with special tariffs, and therefore, of course, we need to work such in the beginning with the states, with all the ministries who can give us special tariffs for market our new and maybe better transport solutions. So what we are doing in our next steps, on the 25th of March, we have the next working group session for development of the INSTC. If everyone you're interested, you're welcome. We have a Russian-German Logistics Forum in April in Moscow via the Trans Russia. Unfortunately, I think without any international participation, therefore we have to do it in online, but the last forum, it was very interesting, and hopefully we can there again speak about the Caspian region. In August, where we the second Caspian Economic Forum. First was in Azerbaijan, I think, or yeah, I think in Azerbaijan or in Turkmenistan. Second now is in Moscow, and the 11th and 12th of August. Very interesting. The TransTech International Transport Corridors Forum in St. Petersburg. There we have a panel from the BVL to promote even this way of Caspian Sea and the middle corridor and the INSTC. And the Caspian Europe Forum we already heard about, and our huge conference from the BVL It's in October 20th until the 22nd. Normally over 3,000 of participants. I don't know what will be in this year in October, but hopefully we can meet there. So that's from my side. Welcome to the Caspian region, I can say. It's very interesting for us, and the BVL will support all the initiatives of this, the Chapter Russia. We are very open for cooperation and ready at any time for your questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mirko, for the great presentation. You showed us very clearly how these projects, how these logistic projects and these international corridors are located and are developing. And you showed also very interestingly how they could or they are planning to be connected, like the middle corridor with the north-south corridor and also with the Belt and Road Initiative. And you said it yourself that it's very important actually also for more cooperation instead of competition. How did you see until now in all these meetings you had, steering committees and also these working groups, the cooperation between the countries, between the involving countries, and what could be more progressed in a way that your work as a logistic company would be easier?
So first of all, I think we have to speak. When we don't speak, we cannot offer new logistic solutions. I think all forwarders and logistic companies are very open for new, interesting, good tariffs, good solutions where we can transport cheaper, faster, quicker, and without so many risks, without so many borders. And if we are looking in the landscape, for example, the middle corridor, you have quite a lot of borders, quite a lot of administrations, and in the other direction, when we linking it, you have not so many borders. No? Even if you see the Eurasian economic initiative, where we come with the economic zone from Lisbon to Vladivostok. So we have Kazakhstan and the Russia, the Eurasian Economic Union, together with Belarus. So I think we have to connect, we have to offer, and we have to speak. I think competition is at any time a result when we don't speak together. And that we have to work together to establish new ways. And the Caspian region, like a zone that is not so well known at now. No? There we have to use each possibility to show it in a better way. And I think that is maybe possible when such companies like Hamburg Port Consult or our company, any other from outside of these countries come and link them together.